Following is a repeat show that was previously broadcast on Unity FM.
There's faith in my world. It comes back to your teachings and all your words. From your life I have learned to be patient and caring at every turn. The reason I'm strong, you where I belong. In a world spinning out of control, the reason for my pride, you are my guide. And I will always follow your way, your way, your way. Oh, alayka sallallahu, oh Muhammad. Peace and blessings on you every day. Alayka sallallahu, oh Muhammad. You inspire me in every way. I promise that wherever I go, whenever I pray, I'll be sending you praise with the words that I say. Rasulallah, oh Muhammad. Peace and blessings on you every day. There's light in my heart, helps me find my way back when I've gone too far. When all my anger makes me blind, I remember your mercy for all mankind. The reason I forgive as long as I live. In a world spinning out of control, the reason I love, I'll never give up. And I will always follow your way.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Parenting Hour. You're tuned in to Unity FM 93.5, the heart of the city here in Birmingham, and 105.1 in Luton. Welcome to all our listeners, whether you're tuned in the West Midlands or down south or anywhere abroad, online or on the app. I hope you're having a great day, a great evening inshallah, and you are rested if you're at home, or if you are driving home, that you're going to have a safe journey, inshallah. And we look forward to hearing from you if you're able to contact us, because we want a very interactive session this evening and would like you to call in and interact with us, have a chat to us about the topic that we are going to be talking about, which is important for all of those parents who have children, who have youth, who have children between the ages 16 and 29 specifically, or adults who are over the age of 18 and still under the age of 29. We're going to be talking about jobs and looking for jobs and training and educational opportunities. The number is 0121 772 8892. The studio manager is here waiting for your calls, and we'd love to be with you and interact with you. My name is Kathleen Roche-Nagi. As usual, I'm here with you for the next hour with Parenting Hour. And before I just pass over to our guests and talk about the Youth Promise Plus, Birmingham and Solihull Youth Promise Plus that we're going to be talking about this evening, I would like to remind you of some of our parenting courses that we have out there. So we have 2 pregnancy and beyond courses that we have places for. So one on Thursday, this Thursday, in the new Memorial Surgery in Small Heath. It's between 12:30 and 2:30, run by super trainers, mashallah. They're really lovely trainers. They get so much praise from the parents that come to their courses. And they are going to be talking about pregnancy and how to attach better with your baby and how to build brain power, brain development, and recognize signs of different cries, and going to be doing about family values and what else, problem solving, different things that would happen when you're pregnant and just after having a baby. So that one is on Thursday between 12:30 and 2:30, and then there's another one starting in the evening time for our parents who are working and not able to make it. So please pass around this message. There's another one starting on Friday, this Friday coming. It's the first session, and that is is in Bosall Heath, in where we're based, in George Street, and that's between 6 and 8 p.m. So specifically for working parents, although you don't have to be working, for mums and dads, so we would like both to attend. I know it's always popular, the evening ones, because both can attend, but we do have some places, so please do ring in either the studio here and they will pass on the message, or contact Approachable Parenting directly. So the studio number again is 0121 772 8892. We're taking calls for this evening and anything else that you'd like to talk about parenting, inshallah. So without ado, I'm going to introduce our guests. MashaAllah, what a privilege to have them here with me in the studio. We have Kuldeep. Welcome, Kuldeep, to Unity FM. It's really great to see you here. Is this your first time coming to Unity FM?
It is, yes.
Well, welcome. I hope we have a great show indeed. Looking forward to hearing more about you and your work. And Abdul, who is also working with Kuldeep, and you're working with Birmingham and Solihull Youth Promise Plus. Is that right? Did I get it right?
That's right. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, rahmatullah wa barakatuh. It's wonderful having you here talking about this and opportunities for those young people. We often think about youth up to the age of 25, but we never think of going past 25. So it's nice to be able to include them as well in what you do. So maybe you can explain a little bit about what is it that you do.
Okay. Well, Youth Promise Plus has been around since 2016. That was a phase 1. But as of July this year, myself and Kuldeep, we started on the phase 2 of the provision. So it's just really having the funding to be able to deliver welfare to work provision, which is employment and skills, really. This funding that we have now for phase 2, it's going to be until October 2021.
Oh, wow.
So yes.
That's a nice bit of funding. October, which is near the end of 2021.
Absolutely. I know we work with anyone over the age of 18 to 29.
Yep.
But as Birmingham City Council itself, we have provision for anybody and everybody really out there who's 15 or over. I mean, anyone that's 15 or over can go to Birmingham Youth and Career Service. So there's always partners or someone we can refer to. So we're not going to single anybody out, really, if that makes sense. So
well, that's really good, and we need to explain that, because a lot of our parents that come in, interact with us and talk about their children, they say, my child is not that academically minded, or they're wanting to do something more practical, and school is not the place for them. And I actually didn't think at 15 years old they could make that decision to do something else, but you're saying yes, they can.
Absolutely.
Which is great.
I mean, there's a world of opportunities out there. I mean, anyone of the age of 25 or over, they have a choice to go into World of Work program, and that, like I say to you, it doesn't matter what age you are. If you think you can work,
Great.
And obviously World of Work for people who are job ready. If you feel as though you've got a disability, for example, you've got health issues, anyone over the age of 25, you can work with the Pure project, which is again run through the Birmingham Council itself. And with us on the Youth Promise Plus, it's European social funded project, really. I know we're coming to Brexit, but we've got funding until October 2020. That's all signed off. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an opportunity to vote and to take opportunity of what's in terms of the elections and the women fought very hard for the vote, so I think it's
Didn't
really,
they?
really
Yes.
important.
Yeah, those suffragette women, mashallah,
Yes.
over 100 years ago now, they were out in the streets trying to get us our
Absolutely,
rights.
yeah.
And we have that privilege, so we should be able to take it up and do it, which is...
Absolutely. Just to reinforce what Abdul just mentioned
Yeah.
about the project and what we do,
Yep.
we also work very, very closely with targeted groups, particularly BME communities, particularly women, where we know there's underrepresentation. We're also working with a lot of inactive clients, those who may be out of the job labour market, people who are claiming benefits, care leavers, as well as young people who are not in education, employment and training. So even though we've got an agenda in terms of the work that we've got to deliver, we have got specific targeted sort of work streams that we aim to work with, and we know particularly in areas of Birmingham where there may be areas of deprivation, also areas of affluence, because it can work both ways. You can have young people falling out of mainstream education or looking for apprenticeships in affluent areas, not just in the inner city areas. So, but we are working with the BME clients as well.
Yeah. So that's the ethnic minority clients. This is all the Muslim
Yes.
people that usually listen into this
That's it.
program,
Yes.
although we do have non-Muslims listening in also, but really it's mainly Muslim people that are listening in that may not have heard of this before, that are really want to find out more about it and what it entails. Just before we go into that, maybe we should invite you to share a little bit about yourselves, if that's okay with you, as much you'd like to share about to our listeners, to kind of put a picture around this of how you came into this job. And I can see that you're passionate about the job, but what brought you in originally into this sphere and your journey into this type of work with BMEs and engaging BME communities, especially the youth?
Yep. For me, I used to work for the youth service and for Birmingham Council for about good 20 years. I used to work for the youth service for 4 years, mainly in Concord Youth Centre. So I was managing a project called Crossroad Project, which is still going on, I believe, but under another name. So working directly with young people, we got referrals not just from Sparkhill and Sparkbrook. We ended up getting referrals across Birmingham, and also from head teachers who were saying, actually, we've got some young people who are on the crisp of actually being excluded, or school doesn't fit them, can you support them? So I worked at the youth service, worked in education, special educational needs. I worked closely with the NHS and lots of different organisations, and more recently I left a charity. I worked for a charity where we were working directly with organisations like Birmingham Mind, Cypher Fireside, and we had funding to support people who were actually homeless or at the risk of being homeless. And then I saw an excellent opportunity here through at Birmingham Council, and I thought this is an excellent use of my transferable skills and all the skills I've got in terms of supporting young people as well as adults into education, employment and training. And for many years I used to work as a trainer, working for Social Care and Health, and also working in training and development in education and also for the NHS. So all those skills in terms of empowering people, supporting them in terms of moving them forward, whether it's upskilling them in the workplace or supporting them with CVs and job applications. When I saw this opportunity, I thought, well, actually, it's an excellent opportunity given my contract in the charity was coming to an end, and this job came at an opportune moment.
Brilliant, and all that experience has all kind of come together for you, so it was one way of progressing on further to doing something for these youth, for the youth. It's good that you mentioned these projects, because over the years I found a lot of youth services have closed and there's not places for youth, and we do a programme, a teens scheme. We've called it was start over the summer. It was a summer mentoring scheme. It continued. The phase 1 of it now finished in the October half term, and we're going to train up teens to peer mentor other teens. So we're in phase 2 at the moment, where we're only picking 15 out of the 40 plus that did that to move into phase 2, because we have to kind of focus more on mentoring skills, and they will be giving information to small groups or one-to-one around that. But I was finding that there wasn't so much services out there, and of the children that we worked with, or the teens we should work with, shouldn't call them children, young people we worked with, there was a lot pre-exclusion or nearly there, had some issues in the past, but there wasn't services for them. Do you find that more and more, that there's not those opportunities there for young people?
Well, personally talking from my point of view as well, I graduated in engineering. That's my background.
Oh, wow.
So I was an analyst, and I still remember from school I went to see a careers advisor, but I didn't think I had received the right support back then. We're talking about in the 90s now. Okay.
Oh, it's not as long as me, so it's 90s is fine.
So from there onwards, I made my own mind up that I would like to go into something. And coming from an Asian Bangladeshi background, your parents expect something of you, especially being the eldest child out of the out of the brothers that we were there, and sisters. And so I decided to go into engineering. So once I graduated, I couldn't find the right support to get a job. So I became an analyst, engineering, good with numbers. So I worked in the analyst for a good 6-7 years. I was made redundant, and then I had the whole day. I'm a family man here, so I don't want to be in that position. And I'd like to give something back because I don't see there's that support available to me. And I just kind of fell into this because I've met a friend who was in this welfare to work sector really. And I really enjoyed it, and it's been 15 years now, and I've been, and I'm hoping I have changed many lives, and there's some good news stories out there of many, and that's it really. I want to give that back to the community, and one of the factors, though, because we're in this sector, you can see, for example, right now I work with construction. I mean, everyone will know outside of London, construction is very big in Birmingham, but what many may not know is that a lot of these kids that are growing up, or the youths that are growing up, do not have the right tickets, as they call it, to go and work in the construction sites. And these tickets are, for example, CSCS card. It's a simple thing like a CSCS card for health and safety aspects. If you don't have that, you can't get a construction job.
And how do you get that card?
Well, we've got the West Midlands Combined Authority, where we've got the funding available right now through the construction gateway opportunities through Southern City College, for example. There's LEI based in Digbeth, and there's many others around Birmingham. And we're trying to promote this to say, listen, we need the black and Asian ethnic minorities, especially women, by the way, just to let you know. It doesn't always mean that you got to carry bricks and mortar. There are project management that you can go into. There's health and safety you can go into,
Yes.
I admit you might need to bear the brunt of all weather conditions.
Yeah, but some people would like that, actually, being outside, not stuck in an office, that you have all this heating up and down and you're getting colds because they're open offices and viruses are being spread. So maybe an opportunity for some people to do it.
It's a great opportunity. We've got Commonwealth Games coming up, We have one of the tallest building outside of London being built just on Broad Street. It's a 42-storey building, and you will not believe this. There's going to be a running track in there, and I don't know, I haven't seen anywhere else in the world. One floor is going to be just dedicated to a running track.
A floor?
Yes,
really?
whole floor. Purely to celebrate the Commonwealth Games.
Inside the building?
Yes.
Oh, I want to see that. I hope you're listening in and going to send me an invite.
But we need our brothers and sisters out there to join in, to get the skills, because construction's not going to stop now in Birmingham. Now that London's becoming saturated, and let's be honest, a lot of people are moving here. I'm hearing myself as well. A lot of people are buying properties and investing in properties in Birmingham now. HS2's coming, as we know, and these areas are being redeveloped. I mean, regeneration projects are literally everywhere. It's big. So at this current moment, employers having to recruit from outside of Birmingham just to fill those little void gaps that but if we can train people up, get them out in the experience, I mean, with Youth Promise Plus and World of Work, we can help them to get the CSCS card, and then we can even offer up to 5 days of work experience, and so they can find out themselves how it's like.
So they can actually have a taster in a way.
Absolutely.
So you don't have to make a decision there and then. That is a really good, whoever put that together as a project is really, really good, actually, because a lot of young people may not know if they like to love. Adults wouldn't know if they like a new career or not if they change jobs. Like you had a privilege of changing jobs and seeing it and learning from others, and you know what it is like. It's not easy if you're changing careers. So to have that little experience, because we find that work placements, it's usually they're too young a lot of the time when they come on to work placement to actually know what they're doing. So to have it something like at this age that they can actually feel, is this something I want to do for the rest of my life? That's really good.
Yeah. I was going to say, we also work, like Abdul's just said, about all the construction gateway and the opportunities in Birmingham with the development. We also work with one of our partners called the Prince's Trust, and they offer sort of mini courses around somebody wanting to get into the NHS, people who want to work with robots. So those young people perhaps who think, actually, I'm not too sure about which direction I want to go. I'm not sure whether I want to join the NHS or want to work in a particular industry, we have short courses which Prince's Trust offer, and we've referred many young people to those programs, and that's enabled them to get that practical work experience, get the digital experience, get that creative experience, if that's a path they want to go. Because like you say, Kathleen, a lot of young people don't know when if they fall out of mainstream education, or there's other issues that may be going on for them at home, or other external pressures, which, you know, sometimes a young person may not. We're not all on a straight road in life, you know, and that goes for adults as well. People get made redundant, you know, there's family tensions, or there may be, you know, circumstances might change. Somebody might become a carer for a parent or a child, and then their career might come to a halt. And the same with young people. We can't put young people and adults in a box to say, actually, you have a route way, and when you leave college, you're going to going to university, and you'll get these grades, and this is the way in. It's not that way. It's not that way at all. You've got to be able to be flexible, and organisations like the Prince's Trust, who work with us, are providing models like that to support young people into different pathways. So it gives them a flavour to say, yeah, I really want to work in a hospital. I've never worked in cardiology, or I've never had a chance to work with patients, but you know, the Prince's Trust has offered me this opportunity,
which is wonderful. And actually, it could be, if they didn't want that as a career, it could be a pathway to another career for them. It's all experience, it's learning, it's using your social skills, using and gaining this knowledge to, because I know the BME communities are very academic minded and really want the best for their children, which is wonderful. I mean, most of the communities I know of really would like their children to go to university, example, which is not for everybody there. And even at the time, as you said, circumstances may be difficult, there may be issues going on for them. So why not get this experience, which will really stand to them later on in whatever career, whether they continue this path or something else. And I don't know why we have such stigmas around, you know, different career paths. So long as we're doing something that we enjoy, we feel we're giving back, we're doing what we can, why shouldn't we be doing this, you know, and even volunteering and things like that you're doing, like even this radio show. This is a totally voluntary radio show. You know, we should all be having that in mind, that we should all be giving back in some way. It's not all about money and these high-flying jobs.
Absolutely. And sometimes you can end up, for example, on work experience. Abdul didn't know he was going to change direction. And, you know, sometimes you can be in a situation, think, I'm on a 2-week placement or 3-week placement, and an opportunity arises, and they said, would you like to apply? And you've got those skills, so why not take the opportunity? Don't just see it as, oh my God, I've come to this place, I've got 3 weeks here, when it's over, what am I going to do? You've got to create opportunities as well, and be around and have the right attitude.
That's a really good point. I think to get the best of the situation, and I'm actually a little bit sad today because we've had one of our staff, she's only a young girl, leaving today, for which I'm very happy for her, for a full-time job, which is really good for her. But she came to us as a student from a university in her gap year, and she did her placement with us. And she developed so much over that time that when she went back for her following year, and she worked so hard and so well as well, and everything we gave her, that we actually kept her on for 1 day a week, even though she was back studying. And then when she finished that this year, we managed to keep her on for a little bit more. But of course, she's moving on to something bigger and better now. But as you said, if she hadn't come with that attitude in the beginning, that I'm here to learn, I'm here to develop myself, I'm here to gain knowledge, we would not have kept her on for that post. Absolutely. And she wouldn't have progressed maybe as quickly as what she's done now. So it is a lot about attitude, gaining skills, gaining knowledge. How can I'm pushed into this situation now, subhanAllah, what am I going to do to gain the best from this, to help others, help myself? What am I going to give to others and give to my when I'm here? So it's gaining that knowledge and gaining that rewards.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as you just mentioned as well, in terms of someone's aspiration, you can easily match an aspiration to a job. But one of the biggest thing we don't think is it's the science aspect of it, meaning, I mean, you have to be in the right environment as well. So if a new young person, for example, come out of college and she wanted to go into admin, and for example, if we put an admin in a garage where it's, you know, mainly men, and it's all cars coming in, very, very, let's be machoistic sort of environment, you wouldn't fit that sort of aspect. So we would look at ways of doing action plan, for example, making sure the journey that she's going to go through with us is the right journey. And again, We will set some smart objectives as well. It's not just, come along, we got this vacancy and you're going to go into work. Let's be honest, some people might come along, think they're job ready, but they may not be. So we would go through the process of looking through the CV, for example. We would go through the process of making sure we've got goals set for them.
Great.
And we would review them in our sort of sense. Ideally, we do this every 4 weeks to see if we've achieved anything, and we will celebrate those successes, each aspect, each milestones that we overcome. Even
you're making a plan there together for them, each an individual plan, which is really good. So, and I love the aspect that you're saying you're so culturally sensitive there of where the jobs are, what to suit you. So you sit down with them, get all this knowledge. Well, we're coming into a commercial break. Would you believe already? I can't believe it. So we don't have enough lot of time to talk about this, but we are staying here. Our guests are staying here after the commercial break. So don't tune out, listeners. Do tune in and maybe come to a phone and have a chat to them to know what do your son, daughter, sister, brother need, or how they can get more knowledge or skills, or how they can be part of this project. Again, the phone number is 0121 772 8892. Do ring in the studio after this commercial break, where we'll come back to Kuldeep and Abdul, inshallah. And drive carefully if you're on the way home, inshallah, and pull in to make that call. Assalamu alaikum.
Following is a repeat show that was previously broadcast on Unity FM.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Parenting Hour. You're tuned in to Unity FM 93.5 and 105.1 in Luton, and all our listeners that are tuned in other areas down south and in the Midlands. Have a lovely evening, I hope, this evening. I hope you're well, inshallah, and that you are comfortable if you're at home, or you're having a safe and easy journey home and there's not too much traffic out there, inshallah. You may have tuned in before the break. We have Kuldeep and Abdul with us, and we've been talking about Youth Promise Plus, and I'm just amazed here about the amount of opportunities there is for not just young people, actually, more mature people, if I put it like that as well. Very lot of opportunities happening out there. We were talking over the break about some of the things happening, and really I think we need to go back to you again, Kuldeep and Abdul, and share those things we were talking about over the break. The amount of jobs and apprenticeships out there that for people, for Birmingham is really booming. It's really great, isn't it? It's booming. It's really on the rise. Yeah,
absolutely.
I was going to mention, Kathleen, we have a company that we're working with, Intertrain, and they're offering a pathway for young people between 16 and 18. They're also taking referrals for young people who are over 18 to get into the rail sector. And that's not just working on the tracks, that's a whole range of opportunities once you're on that programme. So it's not just Intertrain, but a local mosque has approached us for a social media vacancy, and that's a 9-hour vacancy for somebody who wants part-time hours, who wants to develop their IT skills, always got a background in social media, or who wants to get into that field. So, we've had construction companies, but Abdul can tell you more about the construction side, but certainly we get vacancies every day through our sister project called the World of Work team, and also through employers who send us vacancies. We've had an organisation contact us more recently who've got a range of hospitality jobs in the hotels across Birmingham, and we've had 2 of our young people who've successfully secured jobs there, and they're having another assessment day very, very shortly on the 10th of December to recruit more people for the hotel and hospitality industry. So that's just some of them, but we've brought a selection of others that Abdul wants to talk about as well. But
and are these full-time or part-time or mixture of both?
Mixture of both. We also get employers who say, does somebody want a work trial? We offer work placements as well. Somebody wants to say, actually, I'm not sure about getting into hospitality, but is there an organisation you can contact or you might have links with who might be able to give me a taster or 2 weeks work experience so I get a feel for what it's like working in that sector. So it's a mixture of, different types of blended learning, learning on the job, or part-time work, full-time work, because like you say, everybody's circumstances are different. Some people might have young. There might be a carer, because you get young people who are carers as well. You might have a mum who might have kids at home, or it may be that might be a single parent family, or it could be that somebody wants to take a career break. Everybody's situation is holistic to that individual. Nothing is like some people might have more time, they might want a full-time job, and they might have more capacity, whereas others might say, actually, I want to go to college 2 days a week, but I'm also going to take some part-time hours over here. So everybody's circumstances are different, so we've got a mixture of full-time, part-time, and also placement opportunities.
Wow, which is wonderful. And these are all paid opportunities.
Yes.
People are paid.
It's paid opportunities. I mean, the one I was mentioning earlier, which is Office of the Public Guardian.
Yeah.
They will have 30 positions coming up. I don't want to use the word apprenticeship. It might pull some of the older, listeners away from this. But basically, it's for anybody from the age of 16 and above.
And above, up to any age.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, normally apprenticeship wage is obviously below minimum wage, I think. But this current moment, with this apprenticeship, it will be paid approximately around £19,000. It's an 18-month contract. So once you go in as an admin person, basically it's a band D position. And then after that you can move around civil service. There are other opportunities that come up. I mean, you can go to Ministry of Justice, for example, DWP, Ministry of Defence, which other sector that you want to go into, you can choose. I mean, HMRC is coming to Birmingham now. They're building a major hub just opposite the Central Library. So this position here, they will be assessing up to 100 people in January. And once this assessment has taken place, there's got to be a criteria met obviously. So literacy and numeracy, you got to be up to level 2. Okay. So if you pass level 2,
which is not that high, you can. I'm sure all our listeners will be able to pass level 2.
Absolutely, and I don't want to put anyone off. If you think you're not going to, the organisation that will be working with us, they can work with you to get you up to level 2. So the next opportunity that comes up in the following quarter, we can put you forward for it. Because I don't know if many people have filled in a civil service application form out there. It's a very difficult form. Is it? When I say difficult, in terms of you ask you for competency-based answers, and you got to get it into the right structure. Otherwise, you don't get through the first stage. This is a different aspect. Whereas of OPG, Office of Public Guardian, they've come across to say, look, we're giving these guys an opportunity to go directly through us instead.
Wow, so there's an opportunity there.
That's right.
And when you have your level 2 in literacy and maths, is that what you said?
Yes.
And you apply for it, is there any other qualifications or background you need?
Well, like I said to you, one of the major factor here is obviously they will do a data barring check, sort of DBS check. So if you've got any criminal records, for example, if it's minor, they might be able to discuss it with you. But for example, if it's unspent, then unfortunately, we can work with you for other aspects of other aspirations, but in terms of jobs which is coming up here for administrative work, it would be difficult trying to, but there is other programs for these people like CGL, which is Change, Grow, Live. They can work with people with drugs or alcohol issues. They can work with people with, like I said, criminal records to find alternative opportunities.
So most of our listeners, I think, and I can say confidently, don't have criminal records and things like this, but they haven't heard of these opportunities before for themselves or for others. So our listeners pass on these messages as well. So it's not just for themselves; they can pass it on to their own families, to their sisters, brothers, maybe their uncles, their aunts. There could be somebody this week losing a position, losing a job somewhere else and not knowing where to go, but would value an opportunity like this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's for any age.
It's for 16 or above. Just to quickly say, obviously, with every project that we've mentioned, there is an eligibility criteria that they have to meet. Ideally, I know that there's listeners out there listening from nationally, really, maybe internationally as well. Now, you've got to be living in the Birmingham ward for the Youth Promise Plus that we're trying to promote today. And anyone that's interested can actually email us on Youth Promise Plus YEI at birmingham.gov.uk, which I'll leave with you.
Yes, we can leave that here with the studio manager, so if anybody does ring in after the programme, we can put them in contact with you.
And with other councils, in other cities as well, I'm sure if they want to inquire with the local council, there may be some projects running, side by side, very similar to what we're trying to offer in Birmingham here.
And when you call Birmingham Ward, where does that extend to? What do you?
For example, I can tell you what to exclude. It excludes Sandwell Council, but anyone within the Birmingham electoral ward, really. It excludes the areas, for example, SMBC, as we say, which is the Solihull Metropolitan Council, but they've got their own. We know that they work as partnership with us, but they've got their own which they deliver.
Great.
So, as I say, there is always, there's going to be something in your locality. That'll be running, yeah.
Which is wonderful like that. And I know this evening people can ring in and we can get your number and things like that. But if people are wondering, would there be one email that they could look up, or should they Google Youth Promise Plus and then their own locality will come up? Is that what happens?
Yeah. We have got a website, www.youthpromiseplus.com. You can have a look on there, and if you just put Youth Promise Plus in Google, it'll give you all the background information about Youth Promise Plus. And Abdul said, you can contact us on that Youth Promise Plus email address, which is a generic email. So emails come through that portal, and we can respond to those because we get inquiries, job vacancies, all come through that. So feel free to make contact with us.
Our main objective is to go out in the community as well. We're not just sitting in the office. So I'm sure Kuldeep will talk about the central library, what we offer from there as well. There is an opportunity coming up soon to basically come along and meet us there. Or, we can come and meet you in your local library, for example, or a public area. And if there's any organisations out there that want to come and meet us, or we can come and meet them and work from the community.
That have opportunities, that want to give those opportunities to you, because you're really very good for those organisations who maybe don't have the time. So you're going out there, finding the people and matching them to the organisation, which is wonderful.
We'd work with local mosques as well, as I mentioned. If it's just sisters, we have sisters available that can go along and just speak to them as well. And like I said, the men folks, I'm there as well, and there's other colleagues that can come along and we can work with individuals. If you want to have the appointment at the mosque, we can come into that. You're welcome.
That's really nice, really kind indeed for you.
I'm just going to reinforce what Abdul said about the link with the Library of Birmingham. We not just have a central presence, but obviously a local presence as well. We work across different job centres as well. But also we've made very good links with the Library of Birmingham, and we'll be holding monthly job clinic there. We're starting on the 4th of December, 12 o'clock through to 4. And it will be on the 3rd floor in the new Library of Birmingham. We're hoping to have that on a regular basis, and we've set up like a job clinic and working with our existing clients, but also anybody who is job ready or wants to find out more about completing job applications, support with interviews, and also CV preparation, all those skills that you need in terms of being prepared for work, or even going on LinkedIn. We'll be having access to the computers at the library as well, so we can support clients in terms of logging in, checking in terms of potential vacancies they might want to go and search for. So that job clinic, as I said, starts on Wednesday the 4th of December, and it'll be a monthly job club, and we're hoping that from monthly we'll be having a weekly presence, but that's still underway. But certainly on the 4th of December, 12 o'clock through to 4, on the 3rd floor in the new Library of Birmingham, Youth Promise Plus will be available. There'll be 3 staff with live vacancies, but also supporting clients with potential jobs, and also supporting with, as I said, with CVs, job applications, and also applying for live vacancies.
Wonderful. And do people drop into that, or do they need to ring you beforehand and book a place there?
They can either drop in, preferably, and we have got like a booking system where people can book in, so we can anticipate how many people are going to be there. But if they, we have done an open event at the library before, and we've had members of the public say, "Oh, I didn't know you were here," and we've taken referrals that way as well. We certainly won't exclude anybody. If we aren't able to see them at that particular time, we'll take their details and we'll arrange to meet them in a public place, or we'll meet them in a community venue, or they can quite happily come to our offices based in central Birmingham.
So excellent. So no loss of opportunity there for people. And do you do many libraries or many drop-ins like this? I know we met you a few weeks ago when we were down in the Bull Ring, and you were doing a lot of work down there over a weekend. It was long days and tough on the feet, standing around trying to inform people what you were doing, and not everybody understands that. They probably think you're selling things, because you were like us, just giving out free things and informing people of services. So it's really hard going, and some people just walk past you because they think you're trying to sell them something, or you're maybe from another type of organisation. So do you do many like that? Do you many drop-ins?
Absolutely, we do many drop-ins like this as well. As I mentioned before as well, one of the biggest factor that's in a lot of unemployed sort of sector, especially with families, is university universal credit, the changes from job seekers allowance and every other benefit that's coming along. And even for individuals, there's been some, barriers that we had to support them with. Now, obviously, Job Centre, they will refer these customers over to us, so we'll go to what we call youth obligation sessions. So we talk to the youth there. But as you say, we don't get opportunities like this to speak to the parents as well, you see, and just notifying them,
Which is vital, actually,
Yes.
because, sometimes our youth are just in that kind of mode of relaxing at home, should I say, or maybe some of them are a little bit more than relaxing, a little bit lazy maybe, and if they've had things all their lives given to them, they don't see the point of getting a job. So parents maybe wanting them to do it but not knowing as well. So we do need to get to everybody. I know there's a lot of youth working really, really hard, but then there's some of the youth have went off the track in some ways, and hopefully they'll come back again. We know there's a lot of instances now of drug misuse and alcohol misuse in our community and crime in our community. So we want to pull all these young people back on the straight and narrow again.
Yes, yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, let's be honest, even when I was growing up, I'm sure Coldip will say very similar in the areas that we grew up in. You had to experience, or you had the exposure to that, and it's just how you avoid that and what support you have available. Luckily, obviously, ourselves, we come to this situation where we can talk on the radio and openly discuss these sort of situations. I mean, one of the factors that we talk about now, obviously there is drugs and alcohol as well, but this social exclusion part of it, where children are sitting at home, let's be honest, PlayStation and Xbox, but that brings about other aspects as well. If you look at it, it can bring mental health, and some of the Asian communities, it is taboo subject to talk about.
Yes, we continuously talk about mental health on this program, so thank you for bringing it up, because we need to get the message out there.
We've got to get the message out there. There are kids out there, parents will not understand why they don't come out of the house, or maybe why don't they get onto the bus, because there could be some sort of underlying issue that's they need to face. We've got many young adults that turn up, basically they wouldn't go for an interview, they're nervous just talking to me, purely because they haven't had that exposure. They haven't met a new face before, or at this day and age they've travelled in their parents' cars, so they don't know which bus to take to get to town or the other side of town. Let's be honest, there's gang-related issues as well. They might not cross certain borders, So these are the sort of aspects we try dwelling into before we try to listen. Here's a job for you. Go out there and do it. So, as you can see, we do try our best to understand the person and obviously follow their journey with them. Really, they dictate, we don't dictate for them.
And do those young people come alone, or do they come with a parent or older sibling, or what do you find?
They can come with the parents at first, but ideally we don't want the mollycoddling side. That's what spoils it, let's be honest. I've got 3 children myself, and I'm trying to I always say to my daughter, look, you've got no life skills, but she does. She does have her own ways of doing things.
I'm sure she's very young. Well, how old is she?
She's 13 now. I'm sure she's listening.
I hope so too, indeed. I'm sure you have a lot of life skills, indeed. With only 13 skills,
she does.
Plenty of opportunity to develop them better.
No, she makes me breakfast every Saturday.
I'm sure she couldn't but have it, and indeed with an experience like this, and you're aware of the opportunities.
No, alhamdulillah, she's got her head screwed on, and she can bake well, by the way.
MashaAllah.
Oh yeah.
No, we all need food. MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
No, but as I've mentioned, it's great to have these discussions individually, ideally individually with these young people, purely so we can work with them instead of just trying to follow the same pattern of what the parents or others may have tried.
Exactly.
But often we come, like Abdul said, the young people have got a combination of things that they might be going through, like low self-esteem, confidence issues. They might have not positive role models at home. They might have got involved in drugs and crime. And I'm not stereotyping young people, because not every young person's like that. But we have got issues where young people do come to us and they have got low self-esteem. They've got low confidence. They talk to us to say, I've got autism, for example, or I'm struggling with my writing skills. So our project in the action plans that we have for each young person is to look at how we can support that person if they're having issues with travel. Our program offers travel support, so young people get travel support, which is support that we offer the young people if they're eligible onto the program. Day savers to support them if they've got a mock interview, or if they've got work experience coming up, or issues around affordability, or getting across Birmingham. So it doesn't create a barrier for them in terms of having that opportunity. And we get young people with a whole host of issues, young people who've been bullied, and those issues don't just go down to young people. Those also can stream into adulthood as well, because like you say, our project works with 16 to 29 year olds. What's to say that a 24, 25 year old who might have children at home, or who might be a single parent or whatever, may have these underlying issues like mental health, and it's not seen as a taboo. We try and we don't probe the young people, we allow them, empower them to share that information with us, so we can signpost that individual, because we're not mental health experts, but we need to have understanding of the people that we work with and the clients that we may come into contact with, in terms of how we can best support them. And as we said, we're not trained mental health professionals, but we can certainly support them with agencies that we work with, so that they can be supported. And if they do get into a job, for example, and they have a specific routine, and they like to do things a particular way, we wouldn't put them in an environment where it's actually going to have an adverse effect on their health and well-being. It's really, really important that we think about some of the underlying issues. Really well. And it's about having those conversations, and the 4 weekly reviews, as Abdul mentioned, as well as young people phoning us and having contact with them, and the employers. We've had young people who've gone on placement, and the employers say, got a few teething issues with this, and we say, try and work with a young person to try and support them the best way. And we've had young people who've gone into a job, started off on an assessment, and actually, doing really, really well. And we not just have young people with these complex needs, we also have young people who are academically done very, very well. We've had young people who are accountants, law graduates. One of our colleagues, Sadia, who's not with us today, she's working with law graduates who are actually taking a different pathway or looking for careers in different sectors. So, it's not just saying that actually
they've got those degrees as well.
Absolutely,
and they're to expand their experiences.
There's a lot of talent out there, a lot of talent, and there's a lot of talent which is untouched, a lot of potential that young people have.
Which we need to be there to be able to support all of that, indeed, and guide them along. So there's a lot of jobs. You've got a lot of jobs in your place. Did you mention there that I know you connect them very well? Then the after support, do you go in afterwards to talk to the young person or to the employer of how things are going?
Absolutely, because we don't just wash our hands away once they're in work. Ideally, we would like to say we can give support up to 6 months. So if they fall out of work, as soon as they get a job, they notify us. As Goldie mentioned as well, there is travel support available to them. Now, if they're signing on, if they're on Universal Credit, for example, for the first month, they will get travel paid for through the job centre as well as Workwise. It's a program called Workwise, so they'll get, and second month they'll get 50% off their travel for the whole month. So they'll get a pass. So that support's available to them. But the other factor as well, yes, we are there for up to 6 months just to see how they are. If they need us, we'll be there for them.
Great indeed. So you're there supporting them along on their journey, which is a wonderful journey, because it's a very broad journey for everybody. Actually, can include so many people, and I really would love to see this track at some time, and what it is like, and I'm sure a lot of people like to see it. And if you say going into trains as well, there's lots of in-house things that you need to know, train trafficking and train trafficking control, and like even car trafficking control, all these, there's lots of jobs and job opportunities out there that people don't think of.
See, some people might think of the money aspect. If you worked on the tracks, it's not the easiest job in the world, but now with the robotics and everything else that's coming in with engineering, it is getting easier. But you'll be working at night when the train lines are shut down, so you'll be working overnight. You might not be local, you might have to go to the other end of England to be able to work, but the money is there. We're talking about way over maybe £1,000-2,000 depending on which contract you go on to. That's how much money you can be paid a week we're talking about.
A week?
So, as you can see, but we're trying to promote this to our so people don't think, like you said earlier, about it's not a stigma work.
So that's 4,000 to 8,000 a month. Wow, that is
seriously
serious money.
Construction's the same. If you worked on the cranes up there, I suffer from vertigo, I can't get up there. But if you worked on a crane, again, it's very similar. You can dictate how many days you want to work. You can work 3-4 days and think, oh my God, I've had enough now. There's enough money in my account, and that's it. So you can, yes, construction it's not like building a house. I mean, the project I talked about, the 42-story building, that's a 4-year project. And just to give a little secret as well, there's going to be another 65-story building coming up thereafter. So Birmingham is literally going up, you know.
Wow, definitely going up in the world.
So if you're in that field where you've got the experience,
Yeah.
you can dictate where you want to work and how much you want to earn.
Wow,
Yeah.
So,
wow.
you know.
Yeah.
So just before I come to you to explain a few more, I just want to remind our parents, because we have a few minutes left before the end of the show, about the Pregnancy and Beyond courses that we mentioned earlier on. If you're tuned in now and you would like to know more about them, there's one on Thursdays between 12:30 and 2:30 in Memorial Surgery, and that is for both men and women, and the same on Friday evenings in Approachable Parenting in IDC in Boswell Heath, and that's between 6 and 8 p.m. There's places available on both. Please ring either the studio or Approachable Parenting and give your name, and we'll get you onto that. And there's lots of pregnancy to 3 courses that are being run all over the city as well. There's one starting in Ladypool this week, or next week I should say. El Hoda Nursery, there's another one on. It's up and down Birmingham, so lots of things happening there as well. So please, listeners, pass on those messages as well, because we are providing lots of free things for parents there to help the next generation, help that brain development, and help to go on to these wonderful jobs that you're talking about, inshallah. Sorry for cutting in there, but I just wanted to get that message across to our parents, indeed, about that opportunity. And actually also, if parents are pregnant at the moment, we also want you to download an app. So the Best Buddies app, please do so, and just pass on the first part to your postcode to us. Ring us in and pass on that, and then we can just tell them that you are one of our parents in Birmingham when we do that. So in the last minute, so any last tips, any last information that we need to give out?
Well, first and foremost, if anyone gets a chance to go and do the mental health first aid course, I did it 3 days. It's a wonderful course. It opens up your eyes to things. Alhamdulillah, you know, Islam has been the pillar to my life and everything I built around, and some people might not be able to use that as a vehicle to be able to move forward. They might need the extra bit of help. Yeah. And that would be great. That would be my advice. Try it out, you know.
Brilliant.
You can get
and a website and a contact number for today?
Yep, it's Youth Promise Plus, YEI, at birmingham.gov.uk. UK, and also you can visit our website, youthpromiseplus.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving up your evening. Thank you, Kuldeep, for coming to the studio, and Abdul for coming to the studio. It's a privilege having you here. MashaAllah. I can't believe that we're nearly finishing.
I know it.
Listeners, have a great evening, inshallah. Take care, keep safe, and until next week, look after yourself.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you.